There's a good chance that you haven't heard of Doug Sanders, but there's an even better chance that you have more in common with him than you think. Now that's a good thing, because Doug Sanders was world class at what he did, but it's also a bad thing, for one specific reason that I'll share with you in this video. And if you hang around, I'll even tell you the 3 steps that you can implement in your own life today to avoid the same slide that followed Doug. G'day, I'm Gary Fay, the Neuro Stoic, and I've been helping high-performing individuals, teams, and organizations build mental strength, success, and resilience for over 20 years. And now you can get all of the actionable tactics that I share absolutely free by smashing that subscribe button and checking out all the content we're putting out to help you create your own clear, conscious, and compelling future. But back to your success. Doug Sanders was a world-class golfer, but this story has nothing, or at least very little, to do with golf. He won many times on the most challenging tour in the world and was a 4-time runner-up in major tournaments, golf's pinnacle events. Doug was most definitely in the upper echelon of his chosen field, but there was a problem. A problem evidenced in one moment, standing over one shot. One shot that would change the course of his life forever. A shot that he missed. Not because he didn't take it, but because his mind was elsewhere. Like many people who fall short of his potential, Doug's mind was on the crowd, on the celebration, but not on the work. Not on the thing standing between him and the crowd, between him and the success. His mind was not on the process. Jack Nicklaus would say that Doug Sanders had one of the finest short and putting games in the business. And so a 2-foot putt was typically a gimme for him. Walking up the final fairway, Doug would be quoted as saying to himself, just wave to the crowd, walk on up, knock it on the green, knock it in there, then wave and jump up and down. And that's all he needed to do to etch his name into history, except that he didn't. You might be asking, how on earth does this relate to me? I don't even play golf, but you do play life. And the lesson here 100% relates to where you are right now, where you want to be, and exactly how to get there. The first lesson we learned from Doug's experience is that talent alone is rarely enough to achieve our potential. We've all heard the stories, know that someone from high school or college, or potentially are ourselves, that prodigious talent who wound up waiting tables just to make ends meet, sitting at home, remembering when, or even have a good deal of success, but just know that we are nowhere near where we could be. That too was me once upon a time. Often as we're developing our own place in the world, we are very easily rewarded and celebrated for the things that we do well, our talents. Many times, these talents are a lot less conscious, but we soon crave the recognition for the outcome. This sets us down an autopilot path of forgetting our why, ignoring the how, focusing on the what, and wondering why it never feels in reality the way you anticipated when you reach the end. The second lesson we learned from Doug is that focusing our attention on what others think of us, of what we are doing, or who we are working towards, often results in us missing the putt, missing our chance, or falling short. Why? Well, there are 2 reasons. Firstly, there are many things that you would choose to do in your life right now if you were not fearful of external judgment. You might think that you have total agency in your decisions, but that is rarely the case. Whether it is trying to prove something to someone who teased you in high school, following an autopilot path to seeking more money, more promotions, or more toys, without consciously understanding your reasons why and what for, the chances of you coming up empty, either materialistically or spiritually, are extremely high. The second, deciding what you want out of your life is the first step to creating your own compelling vision of the future. Doug, nicknamed the Peacock of the Fairways, certainly lived the high life. He counted the infamous Rat Pack and Sinatra as part of his circle, and was famous for enjoying many pleasures in life. To many, this is the epitome of success. Someone who has lived that life knows better. On the surface, it sounds perfect, and the life everyone is chasing, the one that looks good on Instagram. But many who have seen that side, especially those who later recognize the lack of fulfillment, longevity, or meaning from their experiences, understand the feeling of, is this it? Is this what I was built for? It doesn't mean that your pursuit was wrong or that you've been chasing the wrong things in life, but it may mean that your focus was less about your meaning and more about what others would expect of you, what others would think of you, and the external gratification. At times, we wind up at a pivotal point of the journey and ask, are these actually my goals? Or have I just been on autopilot, following someone else's expectations for my life and for my success? If you're looking to achieve success and fulfillment in your life, if you're trying to overcome a significant mental battle or build the resilience required to succeed, it's the third lesson we learned from Doug Sanders that often sets success apart from struggle, stress, or setbacks. Goals are a very important part of any journey towards success, no matter how big or how small, but they can also get in the way. In Doug's case, he was so focused on the goal, focused on the outcome, if you will, that he either forgot about or neglected the process. I wonder how many times you have set yourself a goal: weight loss, study more, save money, quit drinking, and somewhere along the line, the goal becomes too great. The process hasn't been considered, and the steps between where you are now and where you want to be appear a bridge too far, or something that you can start sometime further down the track. The problem often isn't with the goal, how big it is, how achievable it might be, or the resources that you have right now to reach it. The problem is your focus. You see, there is never a one-step jump from where you are now to where you want to be, except in our minds, perhaps our subconscious. In our subconscious, that's exactly how we'd like to see it. The reason we'd like to see it that way? It's easier. If we don't focus our attention on all the little things we need to do every single day to achieve our objective, then we can continue to focus on the manifested euphoria and accolades we will feel once we hit our destiny. But there's one tiny problem. Without the process, without focusing on and actioning the steps between here and there, the euphoric arrival will never exist. We don't want to focus on that part because that's where the pain is, where the discomfort and where the work is. We prefer to focus on the end result, to save ourselves the struggle. The trick here is to create a new narrative around your goal pursuit. The simple way to put it is to become goal-driven but process-focused. Keep hold of the motivating elements of your big, hairy goal, but then sit down and first determine what steps are required to hit that goal. What order do they need to be done in, and exactly when are you going to take the first step? If you're able to factor all of the steps into what makes up your goal and remain accountable to the process, the only logical conclusion is that one day you will wake up and already be well past where you thought you wanted to get to. This isn't always an easy path for many people. After all, you've been avoiding it almost your whole life. But it starts with you, figuring out your North Star and developing a clear, conscious, and compelling identity and vision of your future so you can more effectively determine the process that will get you there. And if building a clear, conscious, and compelling identity and vision of the future is something that you're looking for, then there's every chance the video suggested will help you find it. You see, my goal is to move everyone from where they are now to where they want to be. But I need you to do your bit. Chase success, be brutal, and don't stop.